Hold up. 345 million people are already facing food shortages worldwide, and now it's hitting America hard. These 28 products you use every single day, they're about to become nearly impossible to find by July. We're talking about stuff in your kitchen right now, in your bathroom, probably in your pocket. And no, this isn't some conspiracy theory. This is happening because of real supply chain disruptions and trade policies that are already affecting major retailers. Hit that like button if you don't want to be caught off guard, and let's dive into the 28 products that are about to vanish from store shelves. Number 1. Fresh eggs. Remember how crazy egg prices got in 2022? Well, buckle up because it's happening again, but worse. Right now, as I'm recording this, bird flu has already wiped out nearly 40 million egg-laying hens across 12 states. That's like, imagine if the entire population of California just vanished overnight. Cal-Maine Foods, that's one of the biggest egg producers in America. They're literally buying eggs from outside suppliers just to keep up. Their own CEO said demand is completely outpacing what they can produce. And here's the kicker. This isn't getting better anytime soon. Every time they think they've got it under control, another outbreak hits. So yeah, your Sunday morning scrambled eggs, they're about to become a luxury item. Number 2, fresh fruits and vegetables. Okay, this one's personal because it affects literally everything fresh in the produce section. You know those strawberries you love? Those crispy apples? The migrant workers who pick them might not be there much longer. With the new immigration policies rolling out, farms are already panicking. We're talking about the people who harvest about 70% of America's fresh produce. And it's not like you can just replace them overnight. These workers know exactly when fruits are ripe, how to handle delicate berries without bruising them. Plus, and this is the double whammy, climate change is making everything worse. Droughts are hitting water-intensive crops hard. So even if we have the workers, Mother Nature isn't cooperating. Number 3, chocolate and cocoa products. This one's gonna break hearts, especially around Valentine's Day and Halloween. Chocolate is in serious trouble, and I mean serious. Here's something wild. 70% of the world's cocoa comes from West Africa. And right now, those regions are getting hammered by extreme weather. We're talking about the hottest, most humid conditions on record. Cocoa trees are basically dying. Hershey's already had to pivot. They're making more candy that doesn't even contain chocolate because it's getting so expensive. When Hershey's can't afford chocolate, you know we're in trouble. Nestle and Mars are struggling too. And get this, some chocolate bars have already doubled in price, and that's just the beginning. Number 4, imported seafood. Love sushi? Enjoy fish tacos? Well, this is where the trade war gets really personal. The US imports a massive amount of fish and seafood from China. We're talking billions of dollars worth. With tariffs hitting as high as 145%, importers are literally canceling orders. It's not worth it anymore. Your local sushi restaurant is already feeling this. Some places are switching to domestic fish, but here's the thing. We don't produce nearly enough to replace what we import. So that affordable salmon you grab for dinner, those frozen shrimp for your stir fry, they're about to get a lot more expensive or just not be there. Number 5, olive oil. Mediterranean food lovers, I've got bad news. Olive oil is experiencing what experts are calling a perfect storm. Spain produces most of the world's olive oil, and they've been hit by the worst droughts in decades. Last year, olive oil prices already went through the roof globally. We're talking about increases of 50% or more. And this year, it's not getting better. The olive trees literally don't have enough water to produce a decent harvest. That bottle of extra virgin olive oil you use for cooking, start treating it like liquid gold because that's basically what it's becoming. Number 6, almonds. California produces about 80% of the world's almonds. And California is, well, it's in a water crisis. Almonds are incredibly thirsty crops. It takes about 1 gallon of water to grow a single almond. 1 almond. With ongoing droughts and water restrictions, almond farmers are literally having to choose which trees to keep alive. Some are abandoning entire orchards because they can't afford the water. Your almond milk, your trail mix, those almonds you snack on, they're all about to become way more expensive and harder to find. Number 7, Imported spices and seasonings. This one flew under my radar until I started researching. Most of our spices come from overseas: India, Southeast Asia, the Middle East, and all those supply chain disruptions we keep hearing about. They're hitting spices hard. Plus, with new tariffs and trade policies, importing spices is getting more complicated and expensive. That paprika, those whole peppercorns, even basic garlic powder. A lot of it comes from countries that are now dealing with higher import costs. Your spice rack is about to get a lot more boring and expensive. Number 8. Premium coffee beans. Coffee lovers, this is your wake-up call. Climate change is absolutely destroying coffee-growing regions. Brazil, which produces about a third of the world's coffee, has been hit by extreme weather. Droughts, then flooding, then more droughts. But here's what's really scary. Coffee plants are super sensitive to temperature changes. Even a few degrees difference can ruin an entire harvest, and with climate patterns getting more unpredictable, coffee farmers are struggling to adapt. Your morning coffee ritual? It's about to get a lot more expensive. Some specialty coffee shops are already warning customers about price increases of 20% or more. And here's the thing that connects all of these food shortages. They're happening at the same time. It's not just one product. It's your entire grocery list getting hit simultaneously. When you can't find eggs and chocolate costs twice as much, and your coffee is $8 a cup, that's when you realize this isn't just some temporary supply chain hiccup. This is the new reality we're heading into by July 2025. Okay, so we just talked about food shortages, but here's where things get really scary for most of us. Let's talk about the tech in your pocket, on your desk, and all around your house. Number 9. Smartphones. The pocket crisis. Your smartphone? Yeah, that thing you literally can't live without. It's about to become a luxury item, and I'm not exaggerating here. Here's the thing that's absolutely mind-blowing. Right now, with these new tariffs hitting 145%, companies are literally canceling their orders from China. We're talking about Apple, Samsung, everyone. You know what's crazy? Even though Apple's been trying to move some production to India and Vietnam, they still depend on China for like 80% of their critical components. The screens, the chips, the cameras, it's all interconnected. And get this, shipping data from just last week shows that container arrivals from China are down 30%. That's not a small dip, guys. That's a massive drop. So what does this mean for you? Well, if your phone breaks this summer, good luck finding a replacement at a normal price. We're talking about potential shortages that could last months. Number 10, laptops and tablets. The work from home nightmare. Now here's something that should terrify anyone who works from home or has kids in school. Laptops and tablets are next on the chopping block. I was just reading this report that came out yesterday, and it's honestly shocking. Nearly 90% of laptops sold in America have components manufactured in China. Not just assembled there, I'm talking about the actual guts of your computer. You remember during COVID when everyone was scrambling to get laptops for remote work and school? Well, imagine that chaos. But this time, it's not a temporary pandemic thing. This time, it could last years. And here's the kicker. There really aren't any alternatives. Sure, some companies are trying to shift production, but you can't just flip a switch and suddenly start making complex electronics somewhere else. It takes years to build that infrastructure. One supply chain expert I was reading about said it perfectly. We're about to find out just how dependent we really are on global manufacturing. Number 11. Gaming accessories. Gamers, brace yourselves. Gamers, this one's going to hurt. Your controllers, headsets, mechanical keyboards, gaming mice, basically everything that makes your setup actually good, it's all at risk. I mean, think about it. When's the last time you saw a high-end gaming accessory that wasn't made in China? Exactly. You can't, because they basically all are. What's really wild is that gaming companies usually refresh their products super fast, right? New models every few months. But now, companies are literally freezing new product launches because they can't predict costs or availability. And here's something most people don't realize. A lot of these gaming accessories have really thin profit margins. So when tariffs hit 145%, Companies either have to eat the cost, which they can't afford, or pass it on to you. Guess which one they're choosing? I saw one report that said some retailers are already seeing 40% drops in gaming accessory orders. That's insane. Number 12. Smart home devices. Your connected house disconnected. Smart home stuff. Your Alexa, Google Home, smart thermostats, security cameras. It's all about to get really expensive or just disappear entirely. This one hits close to home for me because I've got smart devices everywhere. But here's what I learned that shocked me. About 95% of smart home devices sold in America are manufactured in China. Not some of them. Almost all of them. And you know what makes this worse? These devices are constantly being updated and refreshed. Companies rely on being able to quickly manufacture new models with better features. But when your supply chain gets cut off, that innovation just stops. I read this interview with a smart home company CEO, and he said something that gave me chills. He said, "We're looking at potentially going back to dumb homes because we literally can't source the components for smart ones." Plus, think about this. If you've already invested hundreds or thousands of dollars in a smart home ecosystem, and suddenly you can't get replacement devices or new ones, your whole system becomes obsolete. Number 13, phone chargers and cables. The little things that matter most. Okay, this next one might sound small, but it's actually huge. Phone chargers, USB cables, all those little connectors you have scattered around your house and car, they're going to be some of the first things to disappear. And here's why this is so brutal. These are the products with the shortest lead times and the thinnest margins. When tariffs hit, companies just stop ordering them because they can't make any money. I was talking to someone who works in electronics retail, and they told me their supplier already warned them that cable orders are being canceled left and right. Not delayed. Canceled. You know what's really scary? How many chargers and cables do you go through in a year? Probably more than you think. And if suddenly there just aren't any available, your expensive phone becomes a really expensive paperweight when the battery dies. One supply chain analyst said something that stuck with me. Americans are about to rediscover just how much the little things matter. Number 14. Bluetooth earbuds. The audio apocalypse. Finally, let's talk about Bluetooth earbuds. AirPods, Galaxy Buds, all those wireless earbuds you see everywhere? Yeah, they're in serious trouble. This market is absolutely dominated by Chinese manufacturing, and these companies have built their entire business model around constant product refreshes. New models every 6 months, new colors, new features. But here's what's happening right now. Companies are being forced to choose between eating massive tariff costs or just pulling products from the market entirely. And guess what they're choosing? I saw data that showed earbud imports from China dropped 45% just in the past month. That's not a gradual decline. That's a cliff. And you know what makes this worse? People lose these things constantly. I probably go through 2 or 3 pairs a year just from dropping them, losing them, washing machines eating them. But if suddenly there just aren't any available to replace them, we're all going back to wired headphones like it's 2005. One tech analyst put it perfectly. We're watching an entire product category potentially disappear in real time. Number 15. Cleaning supplies. Picture this. You reach under your kitchen sink for that bottle of dish soap and it's not there. Not just out of stock. Like, completely gone from store shelves. See, here's what most people don't know. Those cleaning products you use every day, they depend on something called surfactants. Fancy word, I know, but these are the chemicals that actually make soap. And guess what? Most of these surfactants come from overseas. We're talking about a global supply chain that's already cracking under pressure from trade disruptions and shipping delays. When your Tide detergent starts disappearing from Walmart shelves, you'll know exactly why. Number 16. Paper products. Okay, this one's gonna blow your mind. You know how everyone's always joking about toilet paper shortages? Well, it's about to get very real again. But not for the reasons you think. It's not about the dock worker strikes. It's about something way more serious. Packaging material shortages. Think about it. How does your toilet paper get to you? It's wrapped in plastic, shipped in cardboard boxes, labeled with paper tags. Every single step requires packaging materials that are, you guessed it, in short supply. The crazy part? The toilet paper itself is fine. It's made right here in America. But if companies can't package it properly, it can't get to store shelves. It's like having a perfectly good car, but no keys. Number 17, plastic storage containers. Here's something that's happening right now that nobody's talking about. You know those plastic containers you use for meal prep? The ones you probably have stacked in your kitchen cabinet? Oil prices are going through the roof because of energy tariffs. And plastic? It's literally made from oil. So when oil gets expensive, plastic gets expensive. When plastic gets too expensive, companies just stop making it. We're already seeing major manufacturers canceling orders for plastic resins. That means no more cheap storage containers from Target. No more meal prep containers from Amazon. Your leftover spaghetti is about to become a real problem. Number 18, small kitchen appliances. This one hits different because it's happening right now. Like, today. Retailers are literally canceling orders for blenders, microwaves, coffee makers, toasters, basically anything small that plugs into your wall. Why? Because most of these appliances come from China, and they're now subject to tariffs as high as 145%. That means for every $100 blender, companies have to pay an extra $145 just to bring it into the country. And here's the kicker. For many of these products, there are no alternatives to Chinese manufacturing. None. So companies are just not ordering them anymore. Your morning smoothie routine? Yeah, that might be in trouble. Number 19, batteries. All right, this one's wild. You'd think batteries would be safe, right? Wrong. The whole world has gone crazy for electric vehicles, which is great for the environment, but terrible for everyone who needs regular batteries. See, both EVs and your TV remote use lithium, and there's only so much lithium to go around. Auto companies like Ford and GM are literally signing long-term contracts to lock up lithium supplies for the next decade. They're buying up everything they can get their hands on. So when you need AA batteries for your kids' toys, good luck. The car industry got there first. Number 20, pet food. This one breaks my heart because it affects our furry family members. Pet food is getting hit from two directions, and it's brutal. First, there's an aluminum shortage affecting the cans. You know those little cans of wet cat food? The aluminum they're made from is in such short supply that human food gets priority. Sorry, Fluffy. Second, a lot of pet food ingredients come from overseas. We're talking about vitamins, preservatives, even some of the meat products. And with shipping disruptions and trade issues, those ingredients are becoming harder and harder to source. Pet owners are already reporting that their cats and dogs are too picky to switch brands. But what happens when their regular brand just disappears? Number 21, toilet paper. The real story behind the shortage. Nobody saw coming. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, toilet paper. Again, I know, you're probably thinking, here we go again with the toilet paper drama. But hold on, because this time it's completely different from what happened in 2020. And the real story is way more complicated and honestly way scarier than anything we experienced during the pandemic. Everyone thinks this is about the port strikes that happened earlier this year. Everyone thinks it's about people panic buying again because they remember the empty shelves from 2020. But that's not the real story at all. The real story is so much more complex and so much more fundamental to how our economy works that it's going to make the 2020 shortages look like a minor inconvenience. See, toilet paper itself is made domestically. The good news is that we've got plenty of forests, plenty of paper mills, and plenty of workers who know how to turn trees into the soft, absorbent paper we all depend on. Georgia Pacific, Procter & Gamble, Kimberly-Clark. These companies have massive factories right here in the United States, and they're running at full capacity. The toilet paper is getting made just fine, but here's where it gets absolutely insane. The packaging. The plastic wrapping that keeps your toilet paper clean and dry, the cardboard cores in the middle of each roll, the cardboard boxes that hold multiple rolls together, the plastic strapping that holds those boxes on pallets, the shrink wrap that protects everything during shipping. Every single one of these seemingly simple components is part of a complex global supply chain that's falling apart piece by piece. Let's break this down because it's mind-blowing when you really think about it. The plastic wrapping comes from petrochemical plants that are dealing with oil price spikes and supply disruptions. The cardboard comes from paper mills that are struggling with their own supply chain issues and labor shortages. The glue that holds the cardboard together contains chemicals that are sourced from overseas suppliers who are dealing with trade disruptions and shipping delays. And here's the really crazy part that most people have no idea about. Companies are struggling to get the basic materials they need to package and ship toilet paper, but they can't exactly sell unwrapped toilet paper. It's not about making the product anymore. It's about getting it from the factory to your local store in a way that meets health and safety standards. So you end up with this absolutely surreal situation where warehouses are full of perfectly good toilet paper that can't be properly packaged for retail sale. It's sitting there, ready to use, but it can't get to store shelves because the packaging supply chain has broken down. And most people have no idea this is happening because they're still thinking about 2020 and panic buying, when this time it's about fundamental supply chain breakdowns that nobody saw coming. Product 22. Fast fashion clothing. Let's start with something that's going to hit your wallet hard. Your clothes. You know those $10 t-shirts from H&M? Those $15 jeans you grab without thinking? Well, here's the thing. 37% of all clothing in America comes from China. That's more than 1 in 3 pieces in your closet right now. And here's what's actually happening. Retailers are literally canceling orders as we speak, not delaying them, canceling them completely. Because with tariffs hitting 145%, that $10 shirt now costs the retailer $24.50 just to import. I mean, think about it. When was the last time you paid $25 for a basic t-shirt at a fast fashion store? Never, right? So instead of raising prices that high, they're just not ordering new inventory. The scary part? Fashion has super thin margins and almost zero buffer stock. They order what they need for maybe 2, 3 months ahead, max. So when those orders stop, the clothes literally just disappear from racks. Product 23. Children's toys. And speaking of disappearing, let's talk about toys. This one's going to break some hearts, especially with back-to-school season coming up. You remember when Trump was asked about potential toy shortages? His exact words were, and I'm quoting here, "Maybe the children will have 2 dolls instead of 30 dolls." Like, he literally admitted toys are going to be scarce. Here's why toys are getting hit first. Most toys are seasonal, right? They plan Christmas inventory in like March or April. Summer toys get ordered in January. But with these trade disruptions happening right now, those orders aren't being placed. And get this. Toys have some of the shortest lead times in retail. A toy company can't just wait 6 months to see if trade deals get worked out. Kids grow up, trends change, Christmas doesn't wait for anyone. My friend who works at a major toy retailer told me they're already seeing gaps. Like, a kid wants a blue backpack for school, and there just aren't any blue backpacks. That specific color, that specific style, gone. And it's only going to get worse. Product 24. Sporting goods. Now here's one that's flying under the radar. Sporting goods. You know that feeling when you finally decide to get back in shape, and you go to buy some dumbbells or a yoga mat? Well, a lot of that equipment comes from the same factories that are now dealing with massive disruptions. I was just at Dick's Sporting Goods last week, and honestly, some sections looked sparse. Not empty, but like, you could tell they're stretching their inventory. Fewer options, weird gaps on shelves. And with summer sports season ramping up, baseball gloves, tennis rackets, golf clubs, if you've been putting off buying that equipment, you might want to stop procrastinating. Product 25. Luggage and travel gear. Okay, this next one hit me personally. Luggage and travel gear. So I was planning this trip. Finally, right? Post-pandemic, everyone's traveling again. I go to buy a new suitcase because mine is literally held together with duct tape. And the sales guy tells me, buy it now or wait until next year. Apparently, luggage is getting slammed with those 145% tariffs because most of it comes from China. A $100 suitcase now costs retailers $245 to import. They can't sell a basic suitcase for $300 and expect people to buy it. Travel accessories, too. Those little toiletry bags, packing cubes, passport holders, all that stuff that makes traveling easier. Yeah, that's about to get really expensive or just not available. Product 26. School and office supplies. And here's where parents are really going to feel it. School supplies. Back-to-school shopping is like a sacred American tradition, right? Late July, early August, you hit up Walmart or Target with your kids' supply list. Notebooks, pencils, folders, all that stuff. But here's the problem. Most of that stuff comes from overseas with really specific timing. They order back-to-school inventory in bulk months ahead of time. And with shipping taking 30-plus days from China, plus all these delays, a supply chain expert told me that production happens in cycles. They make blue notebooks, then retool the machines, then make red ones, then retool again. So if they miss their production window, there just won't be blue notebooks this year. Your kid wants a specific color or style? Good luck. And office supplies? Same story. Staplers, paper clips, those random desk organizers you buy and never use. It's all part of the same supply chain that's getting disrupted. Product 27. Home decor items. Now, let's talk about something that seems totally non-essential but actually affects millions of people. Cheap home decor. You know when you walk into HomeGoods or TJ Maxx and just browse? Those random picture frames, decorative bowls, fake plants, throw pillows that cost like $12.99? Most people don't realize this stuff comes from China in massive bulk shipments. And retailers like HomeGoods literally built their business model around buying surplus inventory cheap and passing savings to customers. But when tariffs make that $5 decorative bowl cost $12 to import, the whole model breaks down. They can't sell it for $25 because people won't pay that much for random decor. My sister works in home decor retail, and she says they're already cutting back on orders. Empty shelves are going to be covered with signs saying, "Sorry, item temporarily out of stock." Product 28. Personal care appliances. And finally, let's end with something you probably use every single day. Small personal care appliances. Hair dryers, straightening irons, electric toothbrushes, those little travel steamers. Basically anything with a plug that costs under $50. These items are perfect examples of products with no viable alternatives to Chinese manufacturing. Like, you can't just move hairdryer production to Ohio next month. The factories, the expertise, the supply chains for all the tiny components, it's all concentrated in one region. And here's what's wild. Even if companies wanted to find alternatives, there aren't enough factories in other countries to handle the volume. We're talking about millions of units that Americans buy every year. So what happens is scarcity. Prices shoot up. That $25 hairdryer becomes $60. And for a lot of people, that's just not affordable anymore. So why July 2025 specifically? Here's the deal. Right now, there's a 90-day pause on some of these tariffs that ends July 9th. But here's what most people don't get. Even if they work out some deal, it's already too late for a lot of products. Think about it. It takes 30 days minimum to ship stuff from China. Then companies need time to place new orders, negotiate with suppliers, maybe find completely new factories. We're talking months, not weeks, and that's if everything goes perfectly. Most experts are saying it could take 6 months to a year to find alternative suppliers for products that have been made in the same factories for decades. Look, here's what you actually need to know. First thing that's going to happen? Prices. You're going to see price jumps way before you see empty shelves. That $10 t-shirt becomes $15, then $20. Your morning coffee gets more expensive. That new phone case costs twice what it used to. But here's what I'm not saying. Don't go crazy and start hoarding toilet paper like it's 2020 again. Please. We've all been there, and it just makes things worse for everyone. Instead, just be smart about it. Maybe buy that hairdryer you've been putting off. Consider checking out local alternatives. Support businesses that make stuff here in America. And honestly, this might be a good time to figure out if you really need 30 throw pillows or if 5 will do just fine. Here's the thing. This is going to affect everyone differently. Maybe you don't care about fast fashion, but you definitely care about your morning coffee. Maybe you couldn't care less about home decor, but your kid's going to be heartbroken if there are no toys under the Christmas tree. The point is, we're all connected to these global supply chains whether we realize it or not. And for the first time in decades, Americans are about to get a real wake-up call about where our stuff actually comes from. So here's what I want you to do. Drop a comment below and tell me, have you already noticed shortages of any of these products in your area? Are prices going up on stuff you buy regularly? I'm genuinely curious to see if this is hitting some places harder than others. And if this video opened your eyes to what's coming, smash that like button and subscribe because I'm going to be following this story closely. Things are changing fast, and you're going to want to stay ahead of it. Also, share this with someone who needs to see it. Your mom who's always shopping at Target. Your friend who's planning a big trip, whoever. Because the more people who know what's coming, the better we can all handle it together. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.